Hailie Deegan is arguably more important to NASCAR racing than many understand. Since Danica Patrick's retirement from competition, Deegan has emerged as the most likely successor to her position as the top woman of stock car racing in America. But what's next for her now that she has been sent away? Last week, Deegan's hype train came to a halt when, at the age of 24, her Xfinity Series team removed her from its number 15 Ford Mustang, leaving her at a career crossroads. It's quite a difference to Patrick, who ended 10th in the Xfinity Series standings with Junior Motorsports in 2012 as she moved from a very successful IndyCar career, which included the historic triumph at Motegi in 2008. Despite having access to powerful machinery with Stewart-Haas Racing and becoming the first woman to start on pole for a NASCAR Cup race at the 2013 Daytona 500 no less, Patrick's potential faded without a win, and she retired from the sport entirely in 2018. She did, however, beat Janet Guthrie's record for the most top 10s in Cup, 7 in her 7 years of competition, leaving you wondering if the next female to come along would truly shatter any race-winning records. Deegan had great hopes of becoming that woman. In 2018, she became the first female in 30 years to win a NASCAR Touring Series event when she won the K&N Pro Series West at Meridian Speedway's quarter-mile circuit in Idaho, and she went on to win 2 more in that series. She moved to the National ARCA Menard Series, where she won Rookie of the Year and finished 3rd in points. Deegan comes from a racing family. Her father, Brian, was the first man to land a 360 in freestyle motocross competition and owns 16 X Games medals. Her teenage brother, Hayden, now competes in AMA motocross and supercross for Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing. She grew up in off-road dirt racing, specifically trophy karts, in her home Southern California, where she won 10 races and 2 championships. Hailie was picked up by Toyota and propelled up the ARCA ranks with a great rookie season, allowing her to jump to NASCAR trucks full-time while still a teenager. She owns the women's record for most top 10 finishes in Craftsman Truck Series history and has over 1.6 million Instagram followers, nearly double Patrick's. Deegan moved camps to Ford in 2020, but the COVID-19 epidemic made long practice sessions obsolete. Along with her 3 seasons in trucks, where she was twice awarded the most popular driver, she made her Xfinity debut at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in 2022, finishing 13th, the greatest performance by a female driver in her maiden race. For 2024, she inked a full-time Xfinity agreement with AM Racing to drive a Ford Mustang with technical support from Stewart-Haas. However, her debut season ended after 17 races, with a best placing of 12th at Talladega and 8 finishes outside the top 30. Deegan stated, "Beginning this season, I had a lot of excitement and hope in taking my next step in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's something I've been working towards for years and always dreamt about. I worked hard to prepare for this season after the team pursued me to drive their car. Unfortunately, it has not turned out the way that I expected. There are always several reasons within a race team as to why things do or do not work, but sadly our goals no longer align. With that being said, myself and AM Racing will be parting ways. The only thing I am focused on is getting back to being competitive. That is all that matters to me. I'm working as quick as possible to find the best opportunities to get back to the track. I'm thankful for the following that I have and everyone who supports me. It's truly only me that knows the whole story and what I need to succeed. See you at the track soon." When she won the K&N Pro Series, she was only 16 years old, and her early rise through the ARCA and truck levels most likely did not provide her with the necessary education or experience, especially considering her background on the other side of the nation. "I was very new to the East Coast side of things. I hadn't made like a lot of friends or had people to ask advice from," she said. "I was just sent out there, kind of blind, and I relied on my team to give me what information they could." Deegan, who returned to Xfinity this year, is disappointed that she did not finish higher in the truck division, despite having decent teams in DGR and ThorSport. "I wish I could have accomplished a little bit more, and I feel like we were in so many positions to do so. I'd be running the top 5 or 10 and end up getting wrecked, or they'd wreck right in front of me." Deegan also felt that the attention on her was increased when it came to the all-important connection with her crew chiefs, and she believes she has yet to gel with one. "I've really lucked out, to be honest, with crew chiefs," she said, following a changing cast in her NASCAR career thus far. "Every crew chief I've ever had always spoke very highly of me after we parted ways. Something that I really take a lot of pride in is relationships on the team and stuff like that. Just being close with everyone and having open lines of communication and making them feel like family." NASCAR desperately needs a high-performing female at the highest levels, and it should be noted that Deegan entered the sport under its Drive for Diversity initiative in 2016. So it's not for a lack of efforts to attract more females to the sport. Obviously, Deegan has her father's backing, who understands what it takes to be successful, but what she lacks is a stock car experienced mentor, like as Rick Hendrick, Dale Earnhardt Jr., or even Kevin Harvick, who can truly take her under their wing. Hendrick is certainly doing that with Raja Karuth, who also has Bubba Wallace to rely on. Having someone who could assist with the financial aspects of the business would also benefit her cause. It appears like there is a route to be blazed here. You believe that Deegan's next move will be the most crucial yet, and that if she fails due to a lack of leadership and support, or because she cannot find a crew chief who genuinely understands her, she will have wasted an enormous chance. If not, we'll most likely have to wait a few years for Gracie Trotter or Tony Breidinger to take up that duty. Deegan concludes, "It is cool to see other girls in racing making their way through, because it is very challenging and there's not many girls that do make it through multiple levels of ranks. It's so difficult because it costs so much money for that car to go to the track. Will she return to Xfinity and maybe perhaps the Cup Series one day? What do you think?" Moving on, following Hailie Deegan and AM Racing's official separation this week, a rotating lineup of drivers will step in for the number 15 Ford Mustang. The NASCAR Xfinity Series team is already planning how they will wrap off the season for their sponsors and crew. Josh Berry is already featured on AM Racing's roster webpage. The Stewart-Haas Racing driver seems to be dropping back down to the Xfinity Series at Pocono. There are only so many Ford drivers in the Cup Series. Putting these drivers in the driver's seat provides AMR with as much data and valuable input as possible. Josh Berry was excellent in the Xfinity Series. Berry was winless last season, but his performance in that series earned him a spot in the Cup Series. With a reference like Dale Earnhardt Jr., it's no surprise that so many people believe Berry has great skill. Now, Berry did not have the best luck in Chicago, so it's excellent that AM Racing can ignore it and include him in this 15-car field. Berry suffers on road courses at times, but he is reliable on ovals. When it comes to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Josh Berry has some experience at Pocono. He began his career in Pocono in the 2021 season, racing for Jordan Anderson Racing in the Xfinity Series and Rackley War in the Truck Series. Berry has 3 starts in the Xfinity Series, all at Pocono, P9, P3, and P24, leading the most laps. So, whatever AM Racing hopes to do this weekend, they will most likely succeed. This organization will be able to learn a lot once Berry has finished managing the automobile. The tricky triangle is just that, tricky. Berry will find it difficult to return to the Xfinity Series and compete in the front. There is a lot of skill in the series, and Berry, who was a championship Ford driver 2 years ago, will have stiff competition. Will Josh Berry improve his form when he's back in Xfinity? What's your thoughts on the changes? Will this help AM Racing, and will Deegan be able to revive her stock car career anytime soon? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.